All right, so today we are really diving deep into something I think a lot of us can relate to, at least on some level.
Hmm.
Um, and that is the unique challenges that face young couples today when it comes to keeping their marriages strong or, even just
Right. Yeah.
maintaining, a strong, healthy relationship.
Absolutely.
So to help us really dig into this, we're taking a close look at psychologist Becky's piece, The Challenges of Maintaining a Marriage Among Young People.
Okay. Yeah.
Have you had a chance to take a look?
Yeah, I read through that. It's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, she opens with this really striking scene that honestly I think a lot of couples would probably recognize.
Oh yeah.
A young couple that are sitting on the couch, and right away you just get this sense of frustration, this distance between them, you know?
Yeah, I can see that.
And it really just sets the stage for all these challenges that, she kind of goes on to unpack.
Interesting. So like right off the bat, you can kind of get a sense of where she's going with this.
Exactly. And she doesn't shy away from the tough stuff, which I think is why it resonates with so many people.
Well, that's important, right? I mean, it's not always sunshine and roses.
For sure. And one of the first things she dives into is what she calls the overwhelming juggling act.
Okay.
And it's this feeling of, you're trying to balance these really demanding careers.
Hmm.
And then there's this pressure, like societal pressure, to kind of have it all.
Right.
And then, at the same time, you're still trying to grow as an individual,
Oh, absolutely.
all while nurturing this relationship. It can feel like, I don't know, like you're constantly trying to keep all these plates spinning at once.
Yeah, I think that's a great analogy.
And then you add on top of that.
I mean, especially today,
Yeah.
like you've got social media
And
and it's like constantly showing you these perfect lives and
Everyone's filtered and happy. And
right. So it's easy to start feeling like you're not doing enough, like you're not keeping up. And I can see how that could lead to tension in a relationship.
Oh, totally. And speaking of tension, that kind of leads us to Becky's next point, the digital disconnect.
Hmm.
And, I think we've all seen this, right?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Couples, they're sitting together, like physically they're in the same space,
Right.
but emotionally they're miles apart,
Totally.
like lost in their phones or whatever digital world they're plugged
That's
into.
exactly.
Becky describes this one scene,
Mhm.
and it's so powerful.
Oh, what is it?
One partner's totally engrossed in their phone, right? And the other's just like clearly wanting to connect.
Oh, wow.
Like their words are just going in one ear and out the other.
That's rough.
It is. It's like a really stark image of, how technology can kind of come between us.
You know, what I find interesting about that is that it's not even just about the lack of communication, right? It's also about losing that sense of intimacy.
Oh, tell me more about that.
Well, when you're constantly distracted, you miss out on those little cues, you know?
Oh, the nonverbal stuff.
Exactly. Like those little moments of connection, the kind that really make a relationship strong.
It makes you wonder if people would benefit from like a personal assistant just for their relationships.
Uh-huh, right. But seriously, though, it's about making that conscious effort to connect, to be present.
Being mindful.
Yes, exactly.
And even when you're being mindful and making that effort, sometimes, you're going to bump heads,
Sure.
especially when it comes to your individual goals and aspirations.
Yeah.
And Becky points this out, how today there's this huge emphasis on individual success and autonomy,
Mhm.
and that can sometimes clash with the idea of shared goals in marriage.
Absolutely. It's a balancing act
It is.
because you want to support your partner, you want them to achieve their dreams, right?
Right.
But you also have to think about how those individual goals fit into the bigger picture of your life together.
So it's not about, like, giving up who you are,
No, not at all.
but more about finding a way to, I don't know, like, weave those individual threads into the fabric of your relationship, would you say?
Yeah, that's a beautiful way to put it.
And I feel like all of this, the careers, the personal growth, the pressure to keep up, it can also lead to a lot of financial strain.
It's a big one.
It is, and it feels like it's the elephant in the room sometimes because couples just don't want to talk about it.
Right. It can be uncomfortable.
But it's so important
It is.
to be open and honest about your finances, to create a plan together.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to get professional help if you need it.
Oh, for sure.
And it's not about pointing fingers, right?
No.
It's about working together as a team to find solutions.
That seems to be the theme here, teamwork.
It really does.
And I'm so glad that Becky ends on a hopeful note.
Oh, good.
She reminds us that even though these challenges are real, they're not impossible to overcome.
Right.
And she really emphasizes communication,
Of course.
shared goals, mutual respect. Like, Those are the foundations of a strong marriage.
The pillars.
Yeah, exactly. And she ends with this really beautiful scene.
What is it?
It's a total contrast to the beginning. Remember the couple on the couch.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Now they're together, they're sharing a simple meal,
Oh, that's nice.
they're enjoying each other's company, and it just kind of brings us back to that idea of connection, you know?
Yeah, it's a good reminder that sometimes the simplest things are the most meaningful.
Totally. It's not about the grand gestures.
No.
It's about choosing each other, even amidst all the chaos of life.
And maybe putting the phones down long enough to actually enjoy a meal together.
Well said. So, as we wrap up our deep dive today, I want to leave you with this. Considering all these pressures on modern relationships, what are some steps you can take to prioritize connection and really strengthen your own bonds?
That's a good question for everyone to think about.
It is, and I hope this conversation has given you some food for thought. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.